Welcome to At Home with Music, and I have a special message today for those of you who are homeschool teachers. Why do you homeschool? Well, I homeschooled our daughter back in the 90s. We started when she was in the 5th grade, and I personally taught her for the next 5 years. She went back to public school in the 11th grade and did dual enrollment in the 12th grade. She got her high school diploma and her AA at the same time. She took a year off, she did a gap year, and then she went on to college. She got her degree in Japanese and Asian culture 4 years later. Needless to say, I'm quite proud of her. But here's the question: why did I homeschool her in the first place, and have the reasons for homeschooling changed since then? The main reason I took her out of public school was concern for her safety. I had learned that the middle school that she was slated to attend was often plagued by fighting amongst the students, bullying, and the facilities themselves were a little bit run down. In other words, the school had kind of a rough reputation, and maybe I was being overprotective. My daughter would certainly say I was at the time, but you see, I wanted her to be safe, and in addition, I wanted to have control over what she learned. I definitely wanted to instill Christian thought in her mind, but her safety was the main factor. Well, what about today? Well, as you know, many families are homeschooling now that weren't before, and why are they doing it? Well, a number of families have been homeschooling all along. They've never put their kids in public school. I've met several homeschool families that have educated their children from the very beginning, and their children are happy and thriving. Of course, they have their ups and downs, but for the most part, they are dedicated to educating their children. But as you know, many families are now homeschooling for the first time. And I believe that this is for two main reasons. The first is the pandemic. Maybe they didn't want their kids to have to wear masks all day, or they were unsure about whether or not they should be vaccinated. There's a host of reasons that are related to the pandemic that caused parents to have to homeschool their kids. Of course, during the severe lockdowns, everybody was stuck at home together, and so they had to do it that way. And secondly, another reason is that parents are not at all happy about what's being taught in school. Now, this is something that I don't necessarily need to go into detail about. All you have to do is read the news and you find out that parents are becoming upset with what's being taught in the public schools. And they find that Christian values are ignored and even openly mocked. Now, you may be a long-time homeschool parent, or perhaps you're just getting started because of all that is going on. And believe me, it can be overwhelming. It certainly was for me back in the 90s. And there wasn't as much craziness to deal with back then. So I can only imagine what it's like for you now. However, when I taught homeschool, I had a lot of support. Of course, I had support from my wife. She was working, so was I, but my profession offered me more flexibility. Plus, as a professional musician and studio owner, I often worked at night, and so I took on the main teaching role. And a lot of times we were able to get our schooling done in the morning and maybe a little bit after lunch. I was also a member of a very active homeschool association back in Central Florida, and we were able to support and encourage each other. After my daughter left home, got married, moved away, and I retired from playing live shows in 2016, I began developing some courses for songwriters, but eventually I realized that my real desire was to teach music in general and to help homeschool families in particular. I have a lot of fond memories of spending that time teaching my daughter, and that's why I've decided to devote the rest of my career to supporting homeschool families by providing a way for them to include music appreciation and education in their curriculum. So if you have any suggestions as to what music-related topic you'd like to explore, let me know in the comments. You can also contact me through my website and join my mailing list. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you for watching, and if you have not yet subscribed to At Home with Music, I encourage you to do so. I'd love to have you aboard, and I'd love to be able to help you in your journey as a homeschool teacher and help out your whole homeschool family. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video.